or at least I'll attempt it. Matthew, Howard, Mike, Jonathan, Jared, we'll get to all of you. And then after I take calls, I'll have to get into this in more detail. I mean, it's so big, and the documents are so disgusting that Aaron's linked to in this. And it just confirms everything. It is a confession by the corporate criminals that they are engaged in a private, corporate, paramilitary, classical spy grid with a high-tech overlay, usurpation, revolution of treason and treachery against our republic. How many constitutional lawyers have I had on saying that it's treason, the NDAA? Something that attempts to overthrow our form of government and impoverish and enslave the general population is treachery, is treason, is a high crime. These people are criminals. And let me tell you, watching them on the videos where they're announcing all this, they're shifting around. They look like, well, they look like what they are, scum. And that's the biggest frustration I've got, is watching evil scum dominate good people because good people are naive. I am sick of it. And that's why I don't care what happens to me in the final equation. As long as this scum is brought to justice and as long as humanity makes it. Because humanity's not going to make it led by these people. They're so sloppy and delusional. They're letting every GMO thing you can imagine, every poison you can imagine, every bioweapon you can imagine, every radiation accident you can imagine. Everything's just degenerating into mindlessness. And as long as these people have the pacifier of a black uniform and a gun, you know, they think it's their get-out-of-reality free card. But here it is. This is a precursor to it. This was up on Drudge yesterday. I want to thank the Drudge Report for carrying our news routinely. DrudgeReport.com. Red spotlights to mark pre-crime suspects. And I mentioned that with the telescreens and the face scanning cameras and the license plate readers and all the rest of it. But here's the big report that goes with it. Is the NYPD experimenting with drones over the city? Evidence points to yes, but they don't tell you, the terrorist, the public. Of course they're doing it. It's all admitted. But that's a side issue. All these endless toys that they buy with our money to not keep us safe, but to boss us around and hype up the police in this fear paradigm that terrorists are hiding under every table. When, again, champagne corks are more dangerous statistically. Shock doc. Here's the big news up at Infowars.com. And I think it's already scrolled off the main page since last night when Aaron published it. You know, we publish stuff at about 6 a.m. on Infowars Central, 7 a.m. Eastern or so. Then at about 10:30, our writers put a bunch of other news and our own stuff up. And then usually in the afternoon, more news. And I tend to only cover what's in the morning, not even what's in the afternoon. But, I mean, I've noticed stuff that comes out in the morning gets like 500, 600, 1,000 comments. Bigger news comes out in the evening, gets like 300 comments. But shock doc, total federalization of police under new Homeland Security mission. And they say they're doing it. They have the Aspen Institute, CFR, Lateral Commission, put the report out, and then that's adopted, and the government officials are there saying they're going to adopt it, and it's your local police will be hired, run by the feds, checkpoints everywhere, naked body scanners everywhere, everything you do, track and trace, already going on, but just codifying that you're going to have in your business scumbag goons that work for narcotics, child kidnap, trafficking, absolute trash, shipping guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment, certified Oklahoma City bombers. And, I mean, that's what's so creepy. I mean, these are hardcore killers. This isn't like some kind of boss hog group who just wants to steal from you. I mean, these are some nasty people. I mean, look at Chertoff. I mean, if I was a Hollywood director in central casting for like an evil alien leader that poses as a humanoid that busts out and turns into a blood-drinking lizard, he'd be it. I mean, you know. I mean, is there no end? I mean, Skeletor, and then he's got this deputy little pot-bellied demon, Mrs. Napolitano, Miss Napolitano, Mr. whatever its name is. I mean, it's a sick joke. It's a nightmare. All I'm trying to do is live up to somewhere near the midline of what my ancestors did in the battle for Texas independence and the battle for independence for the colonies in 1776. And my ancestors on my father and mother's side, including the captain of the Mayflower, who helped found what became the United States. All I'm trying to do is be like they were. Just be a real person who isn't a coward and stands up to evil. And I know you can do the same as well. This is what it's all about. Our future generations are going to be in a technocratic hell. Not even future generations. We are going to be. Your children are going to be. You are going to be. Unless you say, look, I see your false system. I know what it is. I'm awake, and I'm not putting up with you crooks. So stop playing your games. And don't you dare blow up some federal buildings and blame it on us. We know who you are, murderers. You got to get committed. Because we're in deep trouble from living in denial. Now, I want people to go to Infowars.com and get a noble lie exposing Oklahoma City as an inside job. Scientists under attack exposing the GMO, causing organ failure and all sorts of problems. Indoctrination about the public schools brainwashing everybody. And yes, I got so sick of ordering these books and having to wait 2 months to get them when I'd paid for them that I actually found a bigger printer for Fritz Springmeier, and I paid to get thousands of these printed. And so everybody that was waiting since Christmas to get yours, and they kept saying we were going to get them, your bloodlines are in the mail today. And now we got them in stock, thousands of them. You want to order Bloodlines, the Illuminati? And look at how much glossier that cover is and everything. This book's been out of print. They're available at Infowars.com because we got them all. Okay? Weldon Henson did a great job. He said, look, we're having so much trouble. Let's just, the poor guy's printing them on demand. He can't even make a living. He's about to be homeless because of it. We're waiting on hundreds of these. Let's print them. We got it together. We got them printed with one of the biggest printers in the country. It's super high quality. Bloodlines, the Illuminati, Fritz Springmeier. We got them in stock, Infowars.com. And your purchase makes this operation of warfare against tyranny possible. It gasses up our F-16 so we can fly another Saudi over them and bomb their lies in the info war. All right, now, for a little bit into the next hour, 5 minutes to the next hour, he's going to be in studio with us coming up in next Friday, because he's coming to Austin for a big event that he's putting on. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, syndicated radio host, and the hour before me every day. By the way, stations are picking it up everywhere. They love it. And just doing a great job. It was a little over a year ago that, I've known for a long time that vitamin and mineral deficiency in the foods we eat, from the soils that produce the vegetation that farm animals are fed and that produce the vegetables that we eat, the plants that we eat, have been basically played out. They have had most of their vitamin and mineral and trace element content depleted. And then cheap fertilizers that'll make the plants grow, but that don't have any of the stuff you need in them, are produced. And then there's all the synthetic vitamins that actually don't help you, or they don't have all the trace elements you need in it to actually create that synergy. I know my dad, who's a physician, always explained that with biology. And the vitamins and minerals that Longevity puts together comes from the river deltas. That's why in the Great Nile Valley and other places, that's why you see major civilizations in floodplains of rivers, because that's where you get the best growth and also the healthiest food. But I finally, about a year ago, got into this, slowly started doing a little bit of exercise. I was already doing some exercise and trying to eat healthier, and I could lose 5 pounds and it would stop there. But I finally, about 2 months ago, well, right after Thanksgiving, November 25th, I started doing tangy tangerine in the morning and the evening and pollen burst instead of coffee. And I ate half of my breakfast and don't even want it. There's no caffeine in the tangy tangerine. I haven't had a pollen burst today. When I get tired before the nightly news today, I'll have that instead of coffee. And the tangy tangerine's full of B vitamins. You name it. And yes, I'm pitching this here for the next 30 minutes with pharmacist Ben Fuchs because it funds our operation. And by the way, I want radio stations to sign up with us as distributors at InfoWarsTeam.com. And I want listeners to. You can get a big discount on the products if you do or not. Just go try the Tangy Tangerine at InfoWarsTeam.com or link through on the banners at Infowars.com if you forget that URL, and try it. Because you can watch me right now on the internet at prisonplanet.tv. You can see this is 37 pounds. In fact, I lost about 30, and then it stopped for about 4 or 5 days. Then I lost another 3 pounds. And then in one day, Tuesday, I lost 4.5 pounds. I lost 4.5 pounds in one day. 4.5 pounds in one day. Now, granted, I'm sick of playing games. I am running every day, but I was running almost every day before, and it wasn't doing anything. So I'm jogging, and I'm doing this, and the only problem is I've got so much energy, it's like I'm 20 years old, and I'm super aggressive. Because when I was 20 years old, nowadays, you know, somebody flips me off at a red light or something, I don't get mad. The problem is now, you know, I mean, I'm already supercharged, folks. I am ready to stomp people into the ground any minute. And I guess that's what happens in the rodent studies, where they cut their nutrition down to near starvation, but give them a high nutrient diet. They've had these studies for 20 years. The elites are actually on these diets, that the rats get extremely aggressive and live twice as long. They do it with insects. They can live, what, 6 times as long? And I'm not even eating that super healthy a food when I do eat. The thing is, my body always wanted this. And so I'm doing it now. And it's amazing. And I hope you go to InfoWarsTeam.com to find out about it. But, Ben, you're coming to town next in a week and a half or so to talk about this. Folks can go to the event. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But first, what am I experiencing? Because my dad always says this as an oral surgeon and a dentist. He says the pharmacist, and you started out as a regular pharmacist, know more than doctors because they have to know the actual chemistry of all the drugs. The doctors just basically know the basics and check with the pharmacist and aren't ever up on the latest stuff. Pharmacists have to know the actual biology and biomechanical, electrochemical processes of the body. And of course, I should add, Aaron Dyke started pretty much with your research about a year ago. He's lost over 60 pounds. In fact, now he's gotten super skinny. You ought to see him now. It's like from just a month ago, he's lost another 10 pounds or so. In fact, soon he'll be too skinny. He's not even hungry. And it's just because he's drinking. And again, it's like well, he's a doctor, also a doctor of veterinary medicine. Dr. Wallach pointed out, they say you only need 80-something minerals, but he says you need 90+. And so this has got the stuff that the mainline folks say you don't need. And that's why regular vitamins don't have the same effect as this Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Rebound FX, and the Pollen Burst. And the other products are great, but these are the ones that really are like a drug, but they're not. They're natural. So what's happening, pharmacist Ben Fuchs, with me right now, that I can lose 4.5 pounds in one day?
Hey, Alex, what you're experiencing is how you're supposed to feel. You're experiencing how you're supposed to be. Nutrients are what drugs dream they could be. If you could tell me that there was a prescription drug that could support collagen, that could act as an antioxidant, that could fight cancer, that could build up the immune system, it would have 0 side effects and would cost less than a penny a pill, you'd think that was a miracle drug. But that's vitamin C. If you could tell me that there was a drug that could protect your heart and protect your liver and was great for your skin and had 0 toxicity and cost less than a penny a pill, you'd think that was a miracle drug. But that's vitamin E. Vitamins and nutrients are what drugs go to bed at night and dream and fantasize they could be. Incredible potency and 0 toxicity. And what you're experiencing is evidence of how these things work. What you're feeling and how you are is how you're supposed to feel and how you're supposed to be every day of your life.
Well, start breaking it down. I mean, when something has an ORAC score like Beyond Tangy Tangerine of 5,745, that's off the chart. What makes this different than a regular multivitamin?
That's an awesome question. You know, one of the biggest problems with nutritional supplements is the absorption. It's not what you take in, it's what you absorb. A wise man once said, to eat is human, to absorb is divine. It's all in the absorption. In pharmacy school, we learned that the different formats of nutrients have implications on how those nutrients, or on substances, have implications on how those substances are going to be utilized by the body. So the poorest way to intake nutrients or to intake substances into the body is in tablet form. The best way is intravenous, and then there's many ways in between along the continuum. Intranasally, through the nose, suppositories, these are very effective ways to get things into the body. But from a practical standpoint, the best way to take in nutrients, to take in any kind of substances, is in liquid format. The more you take in your nutrition, the more you take in your liquids or your foods in liquid format, the better and the easier they're going to be to absorb. And this is very important. Number one, if you have digestive issues, and 60+